Welcome to Big Mike's Real Reviews. This is Big Mike, and I just got home from the theater from watching Spider-Man No Way Home. It's kind of like a surreal feeling because it's like with all the, COVID and the pushbacks and stuff like that, it's like this moment's finally here. I've finally seen the movie, and I'm finally able to talk about it. But this is going to be my non-spoiler review, so don't worry. I'm not going to do any spoilers. I may do a spoiler talk later, but right now I'm just going to keep it non-spoilery for everyone. And just say, in my humble opinion, that this was the second best Spider-Man movie ever made, in my opinion. I still think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was still the top for me. The top Spider-Man movie. But Spider-Man No Way Home is a very, very, very close second. So I think my rating of this movie, guys, I'm usually pretty tough when it comes to ratings. I usually don't think there's anything I've ever given a 10, right? Because I just don't think anything is perfect, right? Because nothing really is. But I think I will give Spider-Man No Way Home a 9. I really enjoyed it that much. I can't really get into... It's really hard to talk about this movie without doing spoilers. But what we do know that are in the trailers, if you watch the trailers, Tom Holland Spider-Man has to face off against several of the villains from the previous Spider-Man franchises from Sony from years ago, that being the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe, and also the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man universe. So, that being said, let's see. Gripes with the movie. Let's start with there. Let's start with the bad, and then I'll lead with the good, right? Or end with the good. The bad. I felt like the first half of the movie had some pacing issues, and it didn't really. I wouldn't say it really was dragging in certain points, but I do believe the pacing was just a bit wonky. Like it was, they were kind of trying to build this, this huge story that they're trying to tell, and it was still a pretty long movie. I mean, at 2.5 hours, basically. It was still a pretty long movie. So I think they did the best they could with what they had and the time allotted. But it was just a kind of a bit all over the place, but it wasn't like too bad or too, hard to follow or anything like that. So, that being one of my, maybe even my only gripe, one of my only gripes or my only gripe. Everything other than that, the action in this movie was fantastic. There was a couple of fight scenes in this movie, not spoilery, but so Tom Holland fights Green Goblin, which you saw was in the trailer. He fights him on 2 occasions. Those 2 fights, to me, was like, it was like brutal action, and even the way it was shot, it was like, because I hate fight scenes where the camera's shaky and you can't really see what the punch is being thrown or whatever, or whatever the fight moves are. I can't stand fight scenes like that. This clearly showed the fight scenes. They were very brutal, and I loved seeing Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man actually going up against the Green Goblin. And I like that it was actually Willem Dafoe's version of Green Goblin, because, how do you top that? Really? Like, how do you top Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin? You can't. So it was great to actually see him get down and dirty. Like, the first 2 Tom Holland, MCU Spider-Man movies, to me, like, Spider-Man Homecoming was, they were, I'm not trying to, I like them, right? So I don't want to really bring them down, but they were kind of juvenile, in my opinion. Like, I liked them okay, but they weren't, up there on my on my Spider-Man best movie list. They were, I think I liked them, enough because they were in the MCU, and I do like you know, how the MCU connects and, you know, things like that. So I think that's why I enjoyed those like I did. But again, like his movies, because he was still very young in high school and, you know, very, you know, kid-like, they didn't stick out to me as much. Now, that's the difference with No Way Home. No Way Home was very gritty, very... That we're going to get a lot of people, you know, complain about Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man not being like truly how Spider-Man should be. This is getting him there. If in fact Sony and Marvel Studios do another trilogy, which is rumored with Tom Holland, we're going to get that grounded, street level Spider-Man we all know and love from the comics. You know, not Tony Stark Jr. You know what I mean? So I really like what they were setting up here. I really hope that Marvel Studios and Sony continues to play nice within their respective universes and allow the crossovers, because this shows that they can make literally, I think this movie's going to make $1 billion. I mean, it's already tracking right now higher than Endgame was. So hopefully the shining light here is the fact that they'll play nice because now they're seeing that with this particular movie, they can do way bigger things even than like an Avengers movie. So hopefully we'll get a lot more to come. And I really hope that Tom Holland sticks around for another trilogy, because I'd love to still see Spider-Man in the MCU and really see his character development of where he's going from here. So with that being said, that's going to be the end of the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra generous, give this video a like. It's much appreciated. And don't forget to hit that bell to be notified of all my latest content. And once again, thanks for watching and see you next time.